Why, hello there. We're doing it. We are finally doing it. An updated Nintendo Switch collection video. I did my first one of these way back at the start of the channel. It was the second video that I ever did, and still one of my most popular to this day. And I figured with the Switch 2 coming out in just a matter of weeks, let's take stock, let's do an updated collection video, and just kind of celebrate, you know, the Switch in itself and its robust library, as well as kind of celebrate the channel a little bit. We've come a long way since that video, and I'm just so grateful. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, hi everybody, I'm Alex, aka Quality, and welcome back to the channel. Now, before we get into all 100 of these games, a little disclaimer: unlike the very first Nintendo Switch collection video that I did, I'm not really going to be showing off accessories or anything like that. I feel as though in my time on YouTube, I have covered a lot of Switch accessory stuff over the years. I've had a few videos about some of my favorite accessories and kind of went in heavy detail in the first Switch collection video. And frankly, not much has really changed in that time. If you want to see my console, here it is. It is a version 1 Switch, the oldest you can get. The battery is still somewhat alright with some modded Animal Crossing colored Joy-Cons, but otherwise, you know, it's kind of just there. But I never ended up getting an OLED or a Switch Lite or anything like that, so this has been my trusty companion for many, many years. It is weird that I'm gonna be playing on a whole new console in just a matter of weeks. Weird. That said though, Nintendo Switch games are still going to be relevant with the Switch 2's backwards compatibility, which I think that's why it's kind of more important to show off the games and stuff, because thankfully this library will be able to continue with me into the next system. It is also my biggest gaming collection of all of them. There are 101 games in this stack, which is pretty great. I really haven't bought a ton this year, but the fact that I was able to make it to at least 100 before I recorded this video, I'm pretty proud about, honestly. And I've played a good amount of them too, which is even better. So buckle in. This is gonna be a long one, but I'm really excited to do it. These are in rough alphabetical order, so we're just gonna go down the list, starting with, of course, Animal Crossing New Horizons, the game that took 2020 by storm. Such, honestly, a very important game in gaming history, just based on the timing of when it came out. I have so many memories of playing Animal Crossing with so many of my friends during COVID. It was kind of the one thing keeping me sane, I can honestly, truly say. And while it's not my favorite Animal Crossing game in the series at all, New Leaf is definitely still #1, and New Horizons does have a lot of issues, I would say, in comparison to other entries of the series. This game is still a love and a joy, and I'm really glad that I got to spend as much time in this game as I did. I don't really play it as much anymore. My mom plays it a lot, and I have a few friends that still play it, but for me, I visit every so often to see my villagers, but I'm not really super into it as much anymore. An underrated gem, we've got Astral Chain. Now, there are still a lot of people that haven't played this game, and I want to speak its praises for a hot second. It really is a great, fun action RPG. I would consider it an action RPG. Some people think it's just an action game. I would consider it an action RPG because you have different stats that you're applying to your legions and stuff. Very, very fun combat, made by Platinum Games. The story isn't anything truly incredible, but it is still a really, really fun time. And again, the combat, very fluid, very interesting, very fun. And it's not a very long game either, so if you can get it on sale, do it. Play it. It's a great game. It's a great game. I'd still love to see if we could get a second one, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. So enjoy this one while you can. Right, I'm gonna do these next 3 in quick succession. We got Ailia Risa, Ever Darkness, and The Secret Hideout. And we have Ailia Risa 2, Lost Legends, and The Secret Fairy. And Ailia Risa 3, I don't remember the name of this one, Alchemist of the End and The Secret Key. Now, of these 3 games, I have played the first one, but I bought all of these from Video Games Plus when they were doing a big reprint of the series, and so many of my friends on YouTube were like, you gotta play the Atelier series, and I really did enjoy the first one. I had a few gripes with it. I wasn't super stuck on the characters right away, and the story was kind of simplistic at the start, but I've heard that it gets so much better in these entries, especially in the second one, so I am excited to get into these eventually. Atelier Yumiya came out, and I think that, honestly, weirdly enough, it looks more up my alley, so I don't know. Before I was talking about finishing the trilogy before getting Yumiya, but I don't know. I don't really know. I'm very happy to have all 3 of these games in my collection. For a while, they were really expensive, so thank you to websites like Video Games Plus for doing reprints of these kind of hard to find games. So yeah, very happy to have all of these. As I said, this is a semblance of alphabetical because I've kind of mixed these piles a little bit while I was creating my massive game piles. But next we've got Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. Haven't opened this one yet. I have not played any of these Ace Attorney games. I played the original trilogy. I did finish, since we're going for it, Ace Attorney Investigations. I have finished both of the Miles Edgeworth games, but I haven't played any of the Apollo Justice games. So this will be a project for this year, 100%. I'm really excited. I know that 4, 5, and 6 are not a lot of people's favorite. The original trilogy was just so good that I think it was hard to kind of get into these ones a little bit, but that's all I know. I've tried not to spoil myself on any of the stories in this one, so we'll see, but I will be getting to this one very, very soon. And again, on that same topic, Ace Attorney Investigations, I loved both of these games so much. I'm a big Miles Edgeworth fan, honestly. I think he's a great character, and the fact that we got to spend more time with him and learn a lot more about his lore in these 2 games really was something cool, with a whole different type of gameplay style as well. So I'm a big fan of these games, 100%. I'm so glad that we've got all the Ace Attorney games, minus Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney, of course, but all of these on the Switch. So really great. I recommend anything in the series. Start with the original trilogy, which we'll talk about later, but all of them are great. Now the game that actually probably should have started, because it starts with the number 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. Great game. I recently became a Vanillaware fan with Unicorn Overlord, which we'll talk about later, but 13 Sentinels was one of those games that was just like mind-blowing at every turn. It was so good, and I loved every aspect of it. You have 13 different characters that you're playing through the stories of at different points in time. You're seeing how they all connect with one another to uncover this greater mystery about the situation these characters are all in. There's time travel, there's sci-fi, there's robots. The battle system is all mechs, and it's like a tower defense kind of RPG. Very fun. I love this game, and I highly recommend it. If you love good storytelling and like sci-fi stuff that will boggle your mind, this is great. The ending is a little meh, in my opinion, in comparison to the greater part of the story, but I think it's still absolutely worth a play. Another great story game, AI the Somnium Files. Now, I adored this game, but funny story, this is the only game that has ever made my Switch crash. It's kind of ridiculous. So I was playing this at the beginning of last year, and I loved every second of it. The humor is hilarious. The mystery itself was great. I love the characters. The aesthetic, the music, all really good. However, it was making my Switch chug like crazy the entire time that I was playing this game. And I got to the last like 2 hours of the game, not even 2, it was like the last hour of the game, and it crashed my Switch. It just froze, like right before the final confrontation. So that was fun. That was fun. Thankfully, it had saved not that long beforehand, so I didn't have to backtrack too horribly, but at the same time, oh my gosh. So if you play this game, I don't know if I would recommend getting it on Switch. It's tricky because I want Nirvana Initiative, and No Sleep for Konami Date is also coming out for Switch 1 and Switch 2, but it's gonna be in a gross key card, so I might just get it on Switch 1, but we'll see. Because I'm a maniac, I'll probably get the rest of the series on Switch, so I can have it all on the same console, but we'll see, but still, AI Somnium Files is a great series. Highly recommend giving it a go. A duo of games that I'm so happy is on the Switch, Bat and Kaidos 1 and 2. I haven't opened this, I haven't played either of these, but I'm really hoping to get to this year. A card-based RPG. I've heard great things, and I know I love the soundtrack, which is always a big draw for me in games, so hoping to get to this soon. One of my mom's favorites, Bravely Default 2. Now, I haven't played any of the Bravely Default games, not because I don't think I'll like them. I know I'm gonna love them. It's more so I held off on getting Bravely Default 2 until I could get a copy of Bravely Default on the 3DS. I just haven't played it yet because there are a lot of different games out there. And I know you don't need to play Bravely Default 1 to play 2, but in my brain that makes the most sense, right? So I don't know, but I did pick this up used, I think last year at some point in time. So I'll be getting to this series soon. Bravely Default 1 is getting a port to the Switch too, but again, it's a key card. I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up on the Switch too, or if I'm just gonna play it on the 3DS. probably just play it on the 3DS, but we'll see. So eventually I'll get to this one too. And Chrono Cross, another game that I love the soundtrack of, but haven't dove into quite yet. I love Chrono Trigger, as most people do, and while this is kind of a weird successor to Chrono Trigger, I am really excited to play this eventually. The aesthetics of it, I love. Again, the music is great. This will probably be a summer RPG for me. This and Final Fantasy X have been competing with each other for years, and I haven't played either of them yet, so so that's unfortunate. But I do want to play this very, very, very soon. Hopefully I'll get to it this year, but lots of RPGs and very little time. We got the Collection of Mana. Now, I love Secret of Mana, I love Legend of Mana, but I haven't played Trials of Mana, which I also have the other version of too, or Final Fantasy Adventure. And I don't know, I just feel like because I have the other two games, it made sense to have the collection. I actually got this at the Detroit Retro Game Show, but it is sealed, so that's kind of nice, but it was very cheap. And I'd been looking for a good copy of this for a while, or at least a good used copy. And yeah, so I found it sealed. Awesome. Very, very nice. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I played Crisis Core back on the PSP when it first came out, so I knew I had to get this when it released. It's still so funny to me that they have Crisis Core on the Switch, but they didn't release any other Final Fantasy VII Remake content. I think all of it's coming to Switch too eventually, but I just always thought that was funny. But I've heard the Switch port is great, so I'll probably get to it this year. It's not a very long game, so I feel like I can probably squeeze it in at some point in time. A game that has my heart that I had been wanting a Switch port for so long, and that is Dokapon Kingdom Connect. Oh my gosh, I am a big Dokapon Kingdom fan. For those who don't know, Dokapon Kingdom is a party RPG, and it is chaotic, it's fun, it's colorful. I adore this game so much. I had it on the Wii, which I bought for like 20 bucks at GameStop back in the day, just in a GameStop case, and my friends and I fell in love with Dokapon Kingdom in high school. And then I lost it. I think I gave it to like my high school boyfriend and I never saw it again. And I talked to him years later. He was like, I have no recollection of what happened to it. I have no idea. So I was without it. At first I was like, oh, well, I can just buy another copy, not a big deal. However, Dokapon Kingdom for the Wii was so expensive. I don't know what it is now because this exists, but it was so expensive for a long time that, you know, as a broke college student at the time, broke high school college student, I couldn't fathom after spending $20 on it at GameStop. So yeah, this was a dream port for me. I actually haven't been able to play it a ton on the Switch. It is on Steam, so I've kind of thought about double dipping because I think more of my friends have it on Steam, but I don't know. I love Dokapon Kingdom and I'm so happy it exists. If you love party games but need to switch it up from like Mario Kart, Mario Party, this is a great one. This is a super duper great one. Even if you're not a big RPG person, it's very easy to understand because the mechanics are very rock, paper, scissors based. I love it. I love this game. Next, Dragon Quest Builders 2. I haven't played this game. My mom has played this game so many times that I just feel like I need to do it at some point in time. Don't get me wrong, I love building sims and stuff, but I have other Dragon Quest games that you'll see in a second that I want to play first. And I don't know, this one isn't a priority for me, but I know everybody that's played this game has loved it, so at some point in time. Speaking of one of those games that I want to play before Dragon Quest Builders, Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince. I actually haven't heard a ton of people talk about this game since it came out. I got it for Christmas, what, 2 years ago? I love monster collecting games and I love Dragon Quest, so it just seemed like a perfect thing. I've heard great things about the Dragon Quest Monsters series in general, but this game in particular, I haven't heard a ton about. So if you know more about it, let me know. But this is also a little higher in the priority list than Dragon Quest Builders because, I don't know, I think the premise interests me a little bit more. And especially more than Dragon Quest Treasures. Now, I regret asking for this game. I have not heard the best things about it. It's a treasure hunting game with characters from Dragon Quest XI, which I love Dragon Quest XI, and that was the initial allure to playing Dragon Quest Treasures. But Paige over at FemTrooper really doesn't like this game, and I trust her opinion very, very highly. And aside from her saying that, I haven't heard other great things about this game, so I don't know if I'll ever get to playing this one, honestly, but for the sake of it being Dragon Quest, I guess I'm happy it's in the collection. Another game my mom is playing right now, but I am not, Dragon Quest 3, the HD 2D remake. Got this for Christmas this past year, and she was like, hey, since you're playing Persona, can I play this? And I was like, yeah, of course. So she's making her way through it right now and having a blast. So I'm excited to inevitably get it back from her and play it, because I have been waiting for this game for so long. And the fact that we're getting 1 and 2 also in an HD 2D remake style with added content, it seems, is really exciting. So I'm pumped, but she says this game is beautiful, she says it's fun, but she has to grind a lot in it, so that's her review. And of course, the big one, Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of the Elusive Age. Gem of a game. I adored Dragon Quest XI. I think some veteran Dragon Quest players wouldn't put this at the top of their list in comparison to some previous titles, but for me, I loved this game. As my first true entry into Dragon Quest, this was perfect for me. It just set everything up so well. The characters were really lovable. The story, while it was pretty straightforward, was still very interesting and very exciting. Like, I wanted to see what was gonna happen. There wasn't really a point where I was bored. I do think some of the spoilery time travel mechanics later on, and that's all I'll say, are a little cheap, but it brought other really great things into the game, so I can't totally complain. And if you've played the game, hopefully you know who I am referring to. It's funny, we go from Dragon Quest straight to the game series it's always been compared to, Final Fantasy. So this is the Final Fantasy collection, games 1 through 6. This is the Play Asia copy of it. Now they've re-released this as a much easier accessible physical collection, but I remember when they dropped the ESRB version of this back when it first came out. They dropped it at a random time. Nobody was able to get it. It was so limited. Play Asia came in clutch, got these out, and honestly, I like this version way better. The inside of the Square Enix version, the actual version, does not have all of this stuff inside. It just has their normal blank inside, which is lame, but so I was really happy to have this at a much more affordable price than what the scalpers were trying to get for the ESRB version all the way back then. Very glad that's not an issue now, but I'm still really happy this version exists. These are all of the Final Fantasies I have played. I've played 7 as well, but these are the ones that when I think Final Fantasy, these 6 are the ones. Final Fantasy 1 was my very first Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasies 4 and 6 are some of my favorite games of all time. I adore them, so the fact that I've got all of them right here is pretty great. It's pretty darn great. Unfortunately, I don't have the Final Fantasy 7 and 8 dual pack. I'd like to get that at some point in time just to continue with the Final Fantasy collection, but I do have Final Fantasy 9, which is honestly one of my favorite little box art situations. I love that it's sideways, it has all the characters. I think that's super duper cool, and I've heard I will love this game. People are telling me, you're gonna love Final Fantasy 9, and I do believe it. People have said it's kind of a return to form after 7 and 8, when a little bit more modern, a little more sci-fi. This is much more fantasy-based, so yeah, I'm really excited to play this eventually. It's unfortunately not as high on my list as Final Fantasy X is, because I've been saying I'm gonna play Final Fantasy X for so long, and I haven't done it yet. So I would say this is still beneath Final Fantasy X, but it will get played at some point in time. Speak of the devil, we've got Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster. It's gonna happen, I swear on my life, people. I've been talking about playing this game all the way back when I started the channel. It's gonna happen this year. It's gonna happen this summer. I promise you, it's gonna occur. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Next up, we've got Fire Emblem Engage, which, it's so funny. As much as like I was lukewarm on this game truly has been a boon for my YouTube career, especially when put up next to Three Houses. My Engage in Three Houses video is still doing numbers, and I just thank you all for that. I put a lot of time and effort into that video, and I haven't put as much time and effort into a video since then. That's a lie. The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 video had a lot of effort into it, but still, this one continues to do numbers to this day. So thank you, Fire Emblem Engage. Yeah, not my favorite Fire Emblem. I loved the combat so much, and I loved seeing all these traditional Fire Emblem characters all together. the story and the characters really take them or leave them. I couldn't do it. Especially not in comparison to the love of my life, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. If you want a heavier story but kind of modified Fire Emblem gameplay, this is the way to go in my opinion. Both games have merits, don't get me wrong. Both are ultimately good games, but when we talk about the one that fits my personality the best, Three Houses absolutely is it. I've talked about this game on the channel too long, so I'm not going to talk your ear off about it, but truly still one of my favorite Switch games to this day. And its companion piece, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, not my favorite. It's fine, it's fine. I think, and a lot of people said it very well after the Switch 2 announcement where we're getting another Hyrule Warriors game, I think we're just a little sick of the Warriors format, to be honest, because I mean, when you really think about it, they're all the same game. They really are. While I was super happy to get more Three Houses content because I love these characters so much, I'll be honest, it didn't add a ton to me. You got to see some of the side characters that were mentioned in Three Houses but never shown, so that was kind of cool, but it didn't really do anything for the characters that really I cared about. And they added Shez, who was a really cool protagonist, a much better protagonist than Byleth for sure. But even in doing so, I was hoping to get a little more Byleth info, a little more info on Sothis and Arvel. Is that his name? I always forget. Arvel, that guy. Yeah, you know what I mean. But we didn't really get that. So, I don't know. It's fine. I mean, if you're a big Three Houses fan, you'll get something out of it. Unlike Three Houses, where I have literally scoured the entire game for as much content as I can find, I did the Blue Lions route in this, and that was all I needed to do. So, hi baby. Next, a great game that I absolutely loved. It's honestly still a pretty impactful game, and I'm so glad they brought it over from the DS. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective is a great mystery puzzle game made by the creators of the Ace Attorney series, and it's a blast, guys. It's an absolute blast. I'd love to get another copy of it for the DS, because that is the original system it was for, but the Switch port does a really good job at still making the puzzles, which heavily relied on the touchscreen, still so fluid in the Switch version. But seriously, the story and the mystery in this game is so good. I played this when I was in Australia and then finished it the day after I got back. I couldn't sleep because the time changed, so I was like, I'm just gonna keep going with Ghost Trick until it's over. And I was sitting in my bed at 5 a.m. just screaming oh my gosh, this is so good. So absolutely highly recommend Ghost Trick. It's very easy to get, so do it. It's a great game. Now, this might be a surprise that I haven't played this game yet, but Hades. So I have had so many friends play Hades over the years, and I've been kind of scared to try it. I think I talked about it in my 25 games for 2025 video this year, but this is a goal to play. I want to play it on stream. Lots of people want to see me play it on Twitch, and it's going to be a disaster and a half, but I will get to it this year for sure. Harvestella. What haven't I said about Harvestella? Ultimately, if you haven't played this game and you love sci-fi and fantasy and plot twists that will boggle your mind for days on end, Harvestella is the game for you. Even if you're not a big fan of farming sim situations, the farming is such a small part of this game. It really, really is. And honestly, I loved my farm in Harvestella. I'm a farming sim person, but even I went into this game being I don't really know how much I care about the farming. I ended up caring by the end. I was all right, I have to tend to my crops so that way I get all of the possible stuff so I can craft all this stuff and then I can go into the dungeon. It all kind of flows into one another, which I think makes it a lot more tolerable for those who might not like farming sim stuff. But great game, love the music, love the story, love the characters. Play it, play it, play it. Show Square Enix that this was in fact a good idea, because I think they still don't think it was a good idea. This was a good idea. This was a good idea. And we've got Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, a game that I did get into. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed this way more than Three Hopes, 100%. But without getting too spoilery, the story just kind of made me really upset in the end. I was so invested. It's supposed to be a prequel to Breath of the Wild, showing you everything that went wrong, obviously, in that time. But they kind of retcon a bunch of stuff. I don't think it's really a secret anymore that there's time travel situations that aren't great, that kind of erase a lot of, the emotional impact of the first part of the game. So, but it's a Warriors game. It's fun to decimate hundreds upon hundreds of enemies in very quick succession, so it's got that going for it. I do know that the next Hyrule Warriors game that's supposed to be happening at the same time as Tears of the Kingdom, / it's a prequel to the actual events. Regardless, that is supposed to be actually canonical. So that is good that they listened in that regard, because I think this made a lot of people really upset. Kirby in the Forgotten Land, Kirby's first big super 3D adventure, was an absolute hit. And it's really exciting that we're getting extra content for the Switch too. It's weird. It's really weird, don't get me wrong, but I did love this game a lot. This was a lot of people's first Kirby games, which unfortunately I do think that'll make it hard to go back and play older Kirby games, but it's still such a great game. The world is beautiful, the abilities are fun, it's just a great game, honestly. And I would say it's got its challenging moments for a Kirby game, to be honest. So, I don't know. Kirby is genuinely an easier action-adventure platforming kind of game if that's what you're into, so I really recommend Forgotten Land. It's just a great take on the series, it's beautiful, and it's Kirby. We love Kirby. Another great Kirby game, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Now, I think I only ever played a little bit of Return to Dreamland on the Wii when it first came out, so this was a welcome deluxe edition to come out on the Switch. This is a lot of people's favorite Kirby game, this and Planet Robobot, which is my personal favorite. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. There were moments where I was so frustrated. I'm really not good at like platformer games at all. It is not my strong suit by any stretch of the imagination, but this game made me scream. It was fun. I loved it. I really loved it. For platformers that made me want to rip my hair out, Clenoa 1 and 2. I have not played 2, but I have played 1, The Door to Phantom Meal. It was pretty good. I really like Clenoa as a character. There were a lot of emotional moments in Clenoa 1. I don't know why, but it really was. It kind of took me by a big surprise. But I'm gonna get to Clenoa 2 this year. It's a very short game. The first game I think is only like 5 hours. The second one's 7. It's not that long, so. But yeah, Clenoa is super cute. Very glad they brought this back to the Switch. And it is the Japanese copy. I did have to import this from Play Asia because there's not an English release. Well, there is now. There's like a Asia English release, I think also on Play Asia, but I have the Japanese version, so. A truly disappointing game in my book, Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy, Deluxe Edition. Originally for the 3DS, which I don't have it for the 3DS, I was excited to have any kind of Layton content because I love that series, but this didn't do it for me. It still makes me very sad. Catriel as a character is fine. The story was not good, and they said that they wanted to bring Layton back to its beginning roots with a much smaller story, but what they did is they put a bunch of small stories that were connected at the end, kind of. Not great. The puzzles were easy. Not a good game, so that's why I'm very excited for the New World of Steam to come out very soon. Because hopefully we'll get a true return to form with the Layton series. Legend of Mana is a game that took me by complete and utter surprise. I figured I would like it. This is another game that I had heard the soundtrack before playing the game, and it won me over. You'll never guess who the composer is, Yoko Shimomura, one of my faves, and yeah, incredible. Absolutely incredible and weird game, in my opinion. As I said earlier, I haven't played a ton of the Mana games, but this is absolutely my favorite. It is weird. It is so, I don't even know how to describe it, but it is so weird. And you go into this game having no idea what you're doing, which makes it so much better to replay and figure more stuff out and do so many more side quests than like you would think. Like, I think going into this game completely blind like I did was a great way to experience it, because even though I didn't see everything, I didn't experience absolutely everything, I did have my own unique gameplay experience with this, and yeah, it's a great game. Characters are colorful and strange. And yeah, the music is great. The locations are beautiful. They're kind of like hand painted and you're walking around in these environments. It's awesome. It's a really cool game. So if you haven't played Legend of Mana, but you've played other entries into the Mana series, maybe give this one a try. I really liked this game. Another RPG gem that not many people have played, or at least not as many people as I would like to have played, Live Alive. Also composed by Yoko Shimomura. She's just kicking butt at any given moment, of course. Great great RPG from the SNES era. It never came out in the West. It was exclusively on the Super Famicom. It's awesome. Again, game with a bunch of characters that you really learn to get attached to. They all tell different stories, but they do converge at the end in a way that has kind of a heavy emotional impact about like your influence on others and like your influence on time and your environments around you. I don't know. I really enjoyed this game. Beautiful soundtrack. It's HD 2D, of course, so it looks absolutely gorgeous. The environments are perfect. You might not vibe with all the characters. I will be completely blunt about that. But the fact that each character has its own very specific way of gameplay and background and how you interact with the world around you, I think is just really, really cool, especially for a game that came out on the Super Famicom. Like, there's a lot of thought in the storytelling that went into this game, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So, big recommend. If you need a weird RPG to play, you're kind of sick of your normal formula stuff, pick up Live Alive. Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion 1 is still my favorite, but this is a fantastic game. One of the best looking games on the Switch, especially for when it came out, to be honest. The environments are gorgeous. You're in this creepy hotel, but like just how it all looks is so good. You've got Luigi, which is a ridiculous concept, but honestly leads the way to a lot of really interesting puzzles. This is a great game. This is an absolutely great game, and I really hope that the next Luigi's Mansion kind of follows in this same kind of success. I haven't played 2. It's out on the Switch, but I haven't picked it up yet because there's not really a rush for me to get it. I don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon. But I have heard that, you know, Dark Moon, or just 2 now because they got rid of Dark Moon in the title, that it's not as good as 1 and 3. 3 was a much bigger success than 2, I think. So eventually I'll play 2, but 3 is honestly the way to go in my opinion. All right, we're getting into quite a few Mario games. We got Mario Golf Super Rush, a disappointment, a disappointment. The story mode of this game was pretty fun. That's about it. That is about it. There wasn't much to this game. Never was there a desire to play this with other people. The Super Rush mode was just kind of just not very fun. I don't know. It was also a victim to the Mario sports game formula of, we're gonna release this game for $60. Is it finished? No, it's not. But we'll give you a free update in like 6 months. Dumb. It makes me sad because I really love Mario Golf and I love Mario Tennis. There's a reason I don't have aces in my collection at all. But yeah, but the story was fun. The story mode was fun. The actual golf mechanics when you were just playing normal golf, great, but I have no reason to go back to this game ever again, probably. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We'll all still be playing it after World comes out for sure. It is the ultimate Mario Kart. As much as I love Double Dash, and that will be my nostalgic favorite forever, and as much hope as I have for World, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just, it's got it all. It's got all the courses you could ever want. The one downside is battle modes and stuff like that, but for a Mario Kart game, this is the way. We'll see how Mario Kart World kind of revolutionizes the series, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will always have my heart as one of the best Switch games of all time and an absolute staple to have in a Switch collection. Mario Party Superstars was a nice surprise, but still didn't live up to, I think, the biggest expectations that everybody had. After Super Mario Party was kind of a big flop for a lot of people, this was a welcome surprise, bringing back classic maps, classic minigames. This is what the Mario Party The Top 100 wanted to be. That said, there could have been more boards. There could have been so many more boards. We got 4. We got 4 and that was it. So it was good. It was good. It introduced a lot that we then saw in Jamboree, but wasn't as good as it could have been as a tribute to Mario parties of ages gone by. So, I don't know, but still good. My Sims, a childhood obsession of mine on the Wii. Haven't played My Sims Kingdom, but I have played My Sims itself. And yeah, this is a game that I will be getting to soon. It's not on my backlog list. This is absolutely just a guilty pleasure, play when I need something to do kind of game. So I'll be getting to this soon, but I'm just so overjoyed that this is on the Switch. Maybe we'll see some of the other My Sims titles. I mean, I don't know if there's really a reason to bring back My Sims Party, I think is what it was, but My Sims Agents was a big one for a lot of people, so I wonder, maybe we'll see that on the Switch 2 or something, but regardless, very happy this exists. New Pokemon Snap was a joy. I loved the original Pokemon Snap on the N64, but this just made things so beautiful. That said, I think this one didn't vibe with people as much as the original did. This is a much longer game, and I do feel like the novelty kind of wears off a little bit, but one thing about this is they gave you so many different photo quests to accomplish throughout the game. So you had side quests, you had reasons to return to some of the tracks, but yeah, I don't know. I really liked it, but I understand why it didn't vibe with as many people. But is this still, I think, one of the best Pokemon spin-offs on the Switch? Maybe one of the best Pokemon games on the Switch when we get to the later parts? Yeah, I think so. It is a gorgeous game no matter what. Nioh The World Ends With You is another underrated RPG gem, in my opinion. The World Ends With You is a great game. However, the Switch port, I don't think really convinced anybody to give its sequel a try. Clunky controls. You could play it handheld, or you could play it with one Joy-Con. Weird. Super weird. Nioh The World Ends With You is not like that at all. The combat is very different, which some of the people that loved the original game didn't vibe with as much, but I think in order for it to work on the Switch, they had to do something different like that. Regardless, fun characters, really good writing, and the soundtrack to these games is honestly so unique in comparison to other video game soundtracks. They're very hip-hoppy, very like Japanese punk, very fun, just very fun music. So yeah, this is a great game. The story isn't anything groundbreaking. I think the story of the original game is still tremendously better, but if you liked the first game on the DS, I really do recommend giving this one a go. This game is a marvel that it works so well on Switch, and I'm really glad it exists because this is one of my favorite games of all time now. Nier Automata: The End of Yorha Edition. This runs so ridiculously well on Switch, it's kind of insane. You wouldn't think so, but they optimized it so well. I personally never experienced any frame rate drops, any lagging. It was a beautiful, fluid experience for a beautiful and impactful game. If you haven't played Nier Automata, whether you play it on Switch, PC, anything, you need to play this game. You really do. This is one of those games that truly did change my life in terms of, this is one of those games that really did change my life. It really did. It presents a lot of different questions, a lot of different philosophical questions to the player while you're playing through this beautiful world. The combat is so fun. Gorgeous soundtrack, of course. Just, it's a standout game of my life. So please, if you haven't had the pleasure, play it. Play it. If you're afraid it's going to be too hard, there is so many difficulty customization options. Quite literally, you can play it on story mode and have all of the combat automated for you if you really wanted to, or select aspects of the combat automated for you. And this game is very accessible, so you need to play it. There's no excuses. Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch. Haven't played it yet, but I'm very happy to have it in my collection. This was a really cheap find. Sometimes I feel like this game and its sequel can go up in price a pretty decent amount, but this was a great used find for me, and I will get to it at some point in time. I'm a big Studio Ghibli fan. I really am. Those are some of the most gorgeous films in existence, and I adore it, so I'm really excited to get to this. I've heard the second one isn't as good. Revenant Kingdom isn't as good, but this game I've heard is a standout, so I will get to it at some point in time and be immersed in the wonderful Ghibli worlds that this game has to offer. Another mild disappointment, Nintendo Switch Sports. Now, I will say, I watched my parents and their friends play this somewhat recently because they wanted a game to play, and that was really, fun. It was a really fun experience. There is still some merit to this game, but I wanted it to be so much more. Again, it fell into that same thing of very not completed when it released, and then they keep releasing content for it sporadically, so randomly. Golf came out at the end of last year after this game's been out for 2 or 3 years. It's so weird. It's so random. So I don't know. The games themselves are fine. I think they just added too many of the same thing. Badminton, tennis, and volleyball are essentially the same sport in this game. You know, it's good to have standouts like bowling and chambara, and now golf. Soccer was cool, but I never got it to work super well. But yeah, so much of it was just the same, and I wish they would have just had a much wider variety of sports like how they did in Wii Sports Resort. But I don't know, even just normal Wii Sports had much more variety. Where's baseball? Where's baseball? Oh, we have basketball now too. I did forget about that. Basketball does exist. But where's baseball? Another really big surprise game for me that I didn't think I'd enjoy as much as I did, but the Nintendo World Championships NES edition. I have the Deluxe edition, which is how I have it physically. That was the only way to get it physically, which I think is kind of a little lame, but I came with cool goodies, so I guess I have that at the very least. But this game, it's basically a bunch of speed running challenges, and I'm not a speed runner by any stretch of the imagination, but I do love the NES, and I have a lot of memories playing NES games, many of which are featured in here. So they're cute little time trial situations, which are just kind of fun. It's very similar to like NES Remix, but instead of having like the remixed aspect of it where they're changing things in these original levels, it's using what is in the game to do these speedrunning challenges. It exposed me to NES games that I didn't grow up playing, but ended up getting really good at these very specific parts of it. And I just crushed everything in Zelda 1 and 2, so you know, that was my thing. But no, this was a fun game. So if you have an appreciation of the NES or love speedrunning, it's not a bad game to pick up if you just want something just kind of fun and chill to do. I'm gonna do these two at the same time. Two of my favorite games on the Switch, Octopath Traveler and Octopath Traveler 2. Both wonderful RPGs. If you love traditional turn-based games and love the HD2 art style, Octopath Traveler 1 is kind of where that really started, honestly. When this game was first announced, I swooned. I was so excited. And it's not just your standard turn-based combat. There is a lot of extra stuff in here to really make your experience unique. You have a battle point system, you can power up your characters in different ways, different jobs. However, Octopath Traveler 2 even does more to expand upon this idea, changing how you do dual classes and having much more stories and interconnectivity between the characters. It's a great game. I think having played both of them front to back, Octopath Traveler 2 takes the win for me between what ones I like better. Both of these are phenomenal stories. You don't have to play one to play two, but I recommend both of them because they're very fun and the stories are very good. Different characters traveling throughout the world, getting together. My biggest gripe with the first one is there really isn't any character interaction. Octopath Traveler 2 fixes it a little bit, but not all the way. It could still go farther, so maybe in Octopath Traveler 3, we'll have a much more connected party. We'll see, but beautiful worlds, beautiful stories. Octopath Traveler 2, like, honestly, the stories in this game were mind-boggling. There was a lot going on in this game, and I loved it, but both gorgeous soundtracks as well, so yeah, these are also Switch staples in my opinion. I love both of these games. A game that I still can't believe we're getting a sequel to, Okami. I haven't played it yet, but this is a game that I know I'm going to love. I've watched so many of my friends play it over the years, and it's always been one of those games that I'm like, oh, it seems so good and I want to play it so bad, but I just haven't found the right time yet. Part of me, I thought about maybe doing it on stream over on my Twitch channel. I don't know. I also might want to have it as an experience for myself, but it's a beautiful game. You're playing as a dog, and I love dogs, so that's great. But I've heard the story in this game is great. The combat and the adventure aspect of it is very Zelda-like, so I know I'm going to like this a lot. And I'm really happy to have it physically. The box art is gorgeous. They didn't come out with a physical in the US. Having the Japanese box art for Okami, though, I feel like makes sense. I don't know, but yeah, very happy to have this. Divisive, Paper Mario, and the Origami King. I had a good time with this game, minus the combat. The combat will never not be bad to me, in my opinion, but the story, beautiful. That is one thing that, as we've gone back and forth with Paper Mario over the years, the story and the writing still stands out, and that's what makes these games a good experience. And Origami King does that very well. It does make you care about the characters, even though some of them are still so nameless, but Olivia, adorable. She's great and has my heart. If you can get past the weird wheel combat, I really recommend it. I really do. But if you can't, there's always Thousand Year Door, which is, in my opinion, the best of the Paper Mario series. I'm a big Super Paper Mario fan too, don't get me wrong, but if you're looking for a more traditional Paper Mario experience, Thousand Year Door is the best. It absolutely is. Again, a great story, phenomenal writing that to this day has still withstood the test of time. A lot of people were worried when they did this remake that a lot of the dialogue wouldn't carry over from the Game Boy, but it was very, very true to the original game. It's timeless. It honestly is really a timeless classic that I think everybody who loves Mario and loves RPGs should give a shot. So play Thousand Year Door. We waited so long for this on the Switch, so play it and show them that you want more traditional Paper Mario games. Please and thank you. I'm gonna do another 3-game collection. We've got Persona 3 Portable, we've got Persona 4 Golden, and we've got Persona 5 Royal. Of these 3, I have played Persona 4, and I adored this game. I really, really did, but it took me so long. I started this game in September of 2024, and I finished it at the end of January of this year. Granted, I took a little bit of a break in between there to finish some other games to wrap up for 2024. I knew this one wasn't gonna make the cut, so I figured we'll play some other games. But Persona 4 Golden is great, and I'm really glad I started with this one. That said, I don't know if I'm gonna end up playing Portable. I'm really happy to have it in my collection. These were really hard to get, and I'm really, really happy. I'm pretty sure Inferno Fox Gaming hooked me up with these, so I'm so grateful because they were hard as heck to find, and I missed all of the reprints for them, so this was very lucky. This was very lucky. But I don't know if I'm gonna play Portable. I might just go straight to Reload on my PC, or if it comes out on Switch 2, which I'm still thinking it might. But again, key card situation, we will see. But yeah, very happy to have this. And I will play Persona 3 in some format, but at this point I'm like, maybe I do just skip to Reload. I don't know. Give me your opinions on that. Should I still give Portable a try just so that way I can play as FemMC? Let me know. Let me know. But I think regardless, next Persona game will be Persona 5. I just feel so left out after all of these years. The mobile game just got released in the West, or announced to be released in the West. I can't remember exactly what one. So Persona 5 is all over my Twitter right now. So it's a long game, and that's why I'm scared. So it'll still be a little bit, but I do think this is gonna be the next Persona / SMT game I play in general. More Ace Attorney. We've got the original trilogy. This copy is still sealed. I bought it digitally on my Switch a long time ago, which I won't be covering my digital games in this video. There really aren't that many, to be honest, especially that I play. So, but that is one that I do have digitally, but I loved it so much I wanted it physically. And yeah, it is only in Japanese. I don't think there's like an Asian English release of this physically. I don't know, but I've had this for a while, and I have no reason to keep it sealed, but I also have no reason to open it either. But if you haven't played these games, you can probably guess what I'm gonna say. Play them. Play them. They're so good. They're so good. Especially if you're around my age and the DS was a pivotal part of your childhood and you loved games like Layton or Hotel Dusk. Yes, yeah, this is it. This will take you back to those happier times, in my opinion. Maybe that's why I love these games so much, but at the same time, the writing behind it is so good. You love the characters. You fall in love with these characters and are so invested in them that yeah, the original trilogy is gold. It really, really is, especially with the third game. It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. So play Phoenix Wright, please and thanks. Pikmin 1 and 2. I have now completed both games in this collection. I adored Pikmin 1. Pikmin 2 was fine. I really loved it at first, and then it kind of really made me mad in a lot of circumstances. I'll talk more about that when I finally do a games I've beaten this year so far video, but both games are great. I am now a certified Pikmin fan. I will be playing 3 at some point in time, and I haven't even bought 4. I've got 3 right here, speaking of the devil, and it's still sealed. I haven't gotten to it yet. But yeah, I haven't even bought 4 because I was like, well, let me play the first 2, see how it goes. But I am sold on Pikmin, even though I'm a little lukewarm on 2. 1 was such a great game, and I've heard good things about 3, and I've heard phenomenal things about 4, so I don't think I'm stopping here. The fact that all of the Pikmin games are on the Switch, that's enough for me. I will play them all. And now we get into a bunch of Pokemon games, starting with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Going back to that DS nostalgia, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum were some of my favorite games. I'm still mainly a Gen 3 person. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald are, like, they're my favorites. They are absolutely my favorites. Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, though, were also the games that, as a kid, I played the most with friends. I didn't really get to play Emerald with friends a lot. I didn't have a GBA link cable, so I was just kind of by myself. But my original copy of Diamond has hours upon hours of playtime in it because I was doing a lot of hanging out with friends in the game. And I also just think Diamond and Pearl, Gen 4 is a great generation of Pokemon. It introduces a lot of Pokemon staples, and this was just such an exciting time for Pokemon. And the original DS games, I mean, it was kind of a huge step up from the GBA, so I will always have precious memories with Gen 4. This remake was not my favorite. I was so excited. Like the world, I was waiting so long for Gen 4 remake, especially after Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby were such good remakes of Gen 3. I was like, what are they gonna do for Gen 4? Because they know it's so important to people. It wasn't great. It wasn't great, in my opinion. They're fine. If you've never experienced Gen 4 before, then this is a good way to do it. I don't think the DS copies are that expensive, Platinum being the exception, but I think Diamond and Pearl are relatively affordable. But if you'd rather just not, and you want to experience Gen 4, then this is fine. This is fine, but I don't think it will ever capture the magic of those original releases. I really don't. They took a lot of stuff out that, if you really think about it, probably wouldn't work on the Switch as well as it did on the DS, but I think that's what, for me and a lot of other people, were, you know, what was super important. They nerfed the underground, which I'm still mad about. I didn't mind the art style. A lot of people were really upset by the art style. I thought it was cute. I thought it was really cute, so I have no problems with that, but it just, yeah, it didn't have that same magic. The updated soundtrack is great, of course. Gen 4 has my favorite music of all of the Pokemon games, tied with Gen 5, honestly, like, and Gen 3. Those three are my favorite generations of Pokemon, and 2. Mainly generations 1 through 5 are my favorite generations of Pokemon, but great music, so that's fine. But yeah, it lost a lot of the magic, I think, from the original release. And whether or not that's just me being nostalgic or that's an actual criticism of this remake, you know, I'll let you be the deciding factor on that, but I was disappointed in Brilliant Diamond. But what I wasn't disappointed in and was pleasantly surprised in was Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, also taking place in the Sinnoh region, I thought it was so cool that we got to see a past look at Sinnoh, again, a region that means a lot to me, a generation of Pokemon that means a lot to me. It was a lot more story-based, which was kind of cool, and I loved the aspect of catching Pokemon, sneaking up and completing the Pokedex. A lot of people don't like that aspect of Pokemon. Some people will forgo the Pokedex entirely just to get through the adventure, and I think that's fine. But for me, this was a standout. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Was it a little ugly? Yes, it was a little ugly. It definitely was. But some of the aspects of the art style I actually liked a lot. I loved the color palette. Again, the music and the remixes of so many classic Gen 4 jams put into a new style and rearranged. Awesome. I thought that was so awesome. This is probably my favorite Pokemon game on the Switch if we really look at it. Like, it's weird. It's super weird, but it really is. So I don't know, I'm a big fan of this game. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee is just a cute Gen 1 experience. If that's all you want, or again, if you have younger kids that are still kind of getting into Pokemon and you want them to experience Gen 1, this is a good game. It does take Pokemon Go mechanics in terms of how you catch Pokemon, but I don't actually think that's a bad thing, especially like when this came out, Pokemon Go, it's still big, but it was really big when Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu came out. That, I don't know, I thought it was a really good way, again, of especially introducing younger kids who are probably playing Pokemon Go to mainline Pokemon series. And ultimately, I just think it's a fine Gen 1 remake. Unfortunately, it does get rid of like the Sevi Islands and stuff like that, which I loved about Leaf Green and Fire Red, but you know, it's still a fine Gen 1 remake. We go downhill with Pokemon Sword. I will give credit where credit is due. Pokemon Sword and Shield, I played these games with friends so often. We did so many max raid battles. We just did a bunch together in that game, going around the wild area, as clunky as it was, but it was a fun time. It was a fun time in that regard. And the DLC was pretty alright too. I didn't mind that at all. But the games themselves were not great. They really were not great. The story was absolutely just nothing. The characters, for the most part, were nothing. They were cute, but they gave us nothing. They gave us absolutely nothing. The battles were too easy. It's like, I do have to be realistic though, and look, is it just my nostalgia talking again? Because I mean, as a kid, Pokemon was really hard when I didn't understand what was going on, and I played this game when I was 22. So there's a big difference there. But at the same time, I just don't think this is the best. Banger soundtrack though. That is one thing Pokemon has not lost. The music continues to remain good, no matter what. So that's at least a win. I still go back and forth between whether or not I think Scarlet and Violet are worse than Sword and Shield. I still don't know. I had a much better time actually playing the game of Pokemon Violet because I enjoyed the story and the characters a lot more, but it was a lot clunkier, it was ugly, and yeah, it introduced a lot of cute Pokemon though, so that's good. But when I really think about some of the more memorable moments of this game, not many of them come to me, really. There were some epic moments, don't get me wrong. The end game I thought was pretty cool. Area Zero was cool. I haven't bought any of the DLC for this because frankly I just don't care enough. It's the only time I haven't bought any Pokemon DLC, so whoops. Whoops, but I don't know. So I think both of these games have their merits, but in terms of Pokemon games, these don't come anywhere close to what my favorites are, which is why Arceus is probably my favorite on the Switch, to be honest. So one kind of nice game though, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. Now I loved Red Rescue Team on the GBA back in the day. This is a remake of that and Blue Rescue Team, which came out on the DS at the same time. But yeah, I miss Mystery Dungeon a lot, but I miss the DS games a lot more. Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky are such good games that I wish we would have gotten that instead, because unfortunately I don't think this resonated with people as much as I think the Pokemon Company wanted it to. But I don't know, I'd love to get a new Mystery Dungeon at some point in time, but I feel like maybe they've abandoned this. I don't know, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because Pokemon spin-offs have been so non-existent. We got this, Pokemon Snap, and because the Legends series, that is like a part of the mainline series of Pokemon, they've said. But we got that, and Detective Pikachu 2, which was really bad from what people told me. And that's it. And that's all we're getting. So I don't know. I don't know where the future of Mystery Dungeon is, but I hope it comes back, or at least we get some form of remake of the DS games, because those games are expensive to get. There's almost no cheap way to play them. So I don't know, but if you've never played Mystery Dungeon and are curious, it's still a great game. This is still a very, very, very good game. The art style is very cute. I don't know, but yeah, hopefully we'll see more Mystery Dungeon in the future. Also a weird one, Princess Peach Showtime. Now, I had a good time with this game. I'm not gonna lie, I had a good time with this game. I thought it was cute. I kind of enjoyed all of the different abilities and the combat style in this game. Sometimes it was combat, sometimes it was making pastries. You never know with Peach. She's a girl of many talents. But I've said it many a times before, I don't think all of the abilities in this game were created equally, which kind of put a bummer on the overall game. But the final boss battle, mind-boggling. What the heck even was that? And that's all I'm gonna say, but I'm happy to have a Peach game. I still think this is better than Super Princess Peach on the DS, because that game was frankly traumatizing to me when I played it last year, but I hope we see more and better. Ring Fit Adventure. Oh my gosh, this game kicks ass. It's very fun. I really, really enjoyed Ring Fit Adventure. I haven't finished it. In fact, I really should get back to it before summer starts. But this game really does give you a workout depending on how high you set the difficulty levels to. But it's very customizable to what you want to work on, which I think is really great for a workout game that's also an RPG. Like, that's kind of the crazy thing, is you're running on this map, and then you get into RPG turn-based battles where you have to exercise the enemies away. I love this game in concept. I think it's awesome. And yeah, I should get back to playing this at some point in time, because I really feel good playing this game every time I do it. My cat hates it though, which is why I stop often, because she tries to kill me while I'm doing the jogging. So I don't know, but Ring Fit Adventure is a great workout game in my opinion. Another triad of games, Rune Factory 3 Special, Rune Factory 4 Special, and Rune Factory 5. I've played none of these. My mom's played a little bit of Rune Factory 4. And that's about it, because I have choice paralysis on what one of these I should start with. I've said it so many times before. I think it's either going to be 3 or 4, but I don't know. I don't know. People were like, start with 3, because once you play 4, which most people claim is the best one, you won't want to go back to 3. So I think that's where I'm going. And then 5, I mentioned this recently in a pickups video, but a lot of people don't really like this game in comparison to the others, especially because it had a lot of issues on the Switch. So we'll see when I get to this one, but yeah, it's nice to have Rune Factory. I've never played Rune Factory. New Rune Factory game, I think, is out soon-ish, question mark? I can't keep track of release dates anymore, to be honest, but it was scheduled for this year. I heard that it got delayed a little bit. Guardians of Azuma will come out eventually, and I will play it, but for now, we got these 3. And just for time's sake, we're gonna do these 2 at the same time. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne and Shin Megami Tensei 5. Notice that this is base 5. This is not the remake that I'm forgetting the name of that came out recently. But yeah, so I've played SMT 5, and my opinions on it have changed a decent amount. I wasn't sold while I was playing it, to be honest. I loved the combat. The story really didn't do it for me. The characters especially didn't do it for me. I think if the game had stronger characters, the story would be better. It's just like the delivery of the ideas was so boring. But looking back at it, it's a really good game. It really, really, really is. Nocturne, I'm interested to get into and see how I like it in comparison. I've heard mixed things about Nocturne, and that the characters are even worse. So I guess we'll see. But one thing, I love the press turn combat, so that alone is going to help me keep playing the SMT games. And I've heard 4 is great, so I'd love to pick up 4 on the 3DS eventually, but for now I have these 2. We're getting so close, oh my gosh. I don't even know how long I've been recording for. Splatoon 3! A game I haven't actually played a ton of. I played a lot of it when it first came out because a lot of my friends were playing it, and then we all kind of fell off it at the same time, which was a little sad, but it's a good game. I know there's a lot of extra content that I have not explored, but honestly, when I think of Splatoon, I think of, you know, duking it out with other people. So I don't know, but it also made me sick the first time I played it because I can't do the motion controls. I have to just use the controller by itself. I can't aim like this because it almost made me throw up, but that's fine. Splatoon 3. I'm interested to see when we'll get Splatoon 4 or if they're just gonna do a zhuzhed up version of Splatoon 3 for the Switch 2, but I'm assuming we'll get a 4th one. Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. Beautiful game. I adore this game so much. I'm a big Harvest Moon Story of Seasons fan. In fact, because we're doing so much channel reflection, one of my most popular videos is ranking every single Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon game that was made by Marvelous, which I think is so funny because I still get comments on that video all the time, which is bewildering to me. I'm so glad so many people loved it so much and have such strong opinions about Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons. It's awesome. But yeah, Wonderful Life is phenomenal. It was one of my favorites growing up on the GameCube, and this is a really, really good remake of it. It kind of does bring it a little bit more to modern. Some cozy gamers might not like it because things aren't as automated as a lot of other farming sims have them be, but for me, this is the type of farming game that I like. This is for me. This is for me. But yeah, it adds a lot. Again, you can marry whoever of any gender. It adds a little bit of extra content, some rewards, some achievements, and yeah, it's just great. It's a great game. I actually haven't even finished my playthrough of this. It's something that I pick up every so often because that's just my relationship with farming games, honestly, but I love this game a lot. And I also love Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town. More Friends of Mineral Town is my favorite. It's my favorite. It's the one I've played the most of all in my life. It was my most played Game Boy Advance game of all time. So when they announced this remake, it truly was a freak out moment. It was a dream come true. And this is a really good remake too, honestly. They add extra characters, they add a little bit of extra stuff in general. And again, you can marry whoever you want of any gender. They did take out rival marriages, which does bum me out. It does bum me out because that was a really big part of my personal experiences with that game growing up, but it's still a great remake, and yeah, I love it. I love that it exists. An actually newer Story of Seasons game that I haven't played, Pioneers of Olive Town. I've heard so many mixed things about this game, which on one hand, it makes sense why Marvelous wants to stick to doing remakes. We're getting the Grand Bazaar remake this year, which I am so excited for because I've never played that game, so I'm pumped. But Pioneers of Olive Town was the only new Story of Seasons Switch game. And yeah, I've heard really mixed things about this game. So that kind of bums me out a little bit. I do want to give it a shot at some point in time, but the desire isn't really there. Especially which, you know, it sounds terrible. It sounds so closed-minded of me to be like, give me my remix. I want to keep playing the games I love. But at the same time, if I had got this game when it first came out, things might have been different, but it's been a while. I'm happy that I have it, and I will try it eventually, but Grand Bazaar will absolutely be my priority, because that's still a new game to me, too. But yeah, so I don't know. Let me know how you feel about Pioneers of Olive Town if you've played it. Is it really worth the investment? I don't know, because I also have Trio of Towns on 3DS, which I started and loved. So I don't know, we'll see. A newer addition to the collection, Suikoden 1 and 2. This is probably going to be the next Switch game I play once I'm done with Clair Obscura on my computer, because that game is taking up my whole life and I love it so much. But I've heard great things about Suikoden and I know I'm going to love this series very, very dearly, so I'm super excited to get to this one super soon. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is a controversial title. They created immense false scarcity with the physical copies of this game, and I still think that's kind of unforgivable, in my opinion. There was no reason to make this a limited release, to be honest. Not just physically, but in the eShop. Dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb. It's a great collection of 3 great 3D Mario games, and I'm really grateful that I have this because copies now are going for crazy amounts of money. It just bums me out. Ultimately, I look at this and I get a little sad, and I don't want to get sad because I love Galaxy and Sunshine and Mario 64, but like, I don't know, it bums me out a little bit. It really, really does. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. It was great to get this ported over from the Wii U because this is a great Mario game in my opinion, and Bowser's Fury is just awesome. It's such a cool experience, and I really hope that's kind of what we see as we go forward. You can already see a little bit of that Bowser's Fury formula in the trailers for Donkey Kong Bonanza, honestly. It seems very similar, so I'd love to see when we get through that what the next Mario game is going to look like, because I think this was a great benchmark, and people loved it. People really, really loved Bowser's Fury, so this was a great Switch release. Honestly, it's so weird to say, but it really was. Also, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, my favorite 2D Mario of all time. This game brought me so much joy and so much laughter and so much fun. It's incredible. It really is incredible. If you haven't played Wonder, I really recommend it, especially if you, 1, love 2D Mario, and 2, if you were super burnt out on the new Super Mario Bros. Series, you won't be disappointed with this. A lot of people, you know, because they've been going with that same trend for a while, I think were a little reluctant because they didn't want to play the same game over and over and over again, but I promise you, this is a new experience, and it's so, so fun. So give it a go. Super Mario Odyssey, of course, is an incredible standout on the system, a wonderful 3D Mario game, and honestly, the most I can say about it is that I'm just so excited to see what's coming next. You know, it's crazy to think that Odyssey is as old as it is, as old as the Switch. So I think we're all ready for a new 3D Mario, but this game is an absolute standout. Cappy, that ability is so cool. The world is beautiful. I don't know. Odyssey has brought a lot of joy to people over the past few years, even if it's not somebody's favorite 3D Mario game. I don't know many people that had a bad experience with this game, so this, again, a Switch standout for sure. Super Mario Party is a disappointment, but we already all knew that. I've talked about that many a times, and honestly, I think sometimes I'm a little harsh on it. I think other people are a little harsh on it. It just wasn't a very good Mario Party, and it also came at the end, not the end, but in the middle of a long stretch of very not good Mario parties, because you had 9, which was not great. Well, I would even say it kind of started with 8. I have good memories of playing 8 on the Wii. 9 is when they introduced the car. 10 was a disaster on the Wii U. The top 100, disastrous. And we got this, which just also was a little boring. The games weren't that fun. They were trying to get you to use all the HD rumble effects and all of that kind of cool Joy-Con stuff, which is cool in concept, but like it just didn't really work. So I don't think I'll ever be returning to this game ever again. but Super Mario Party Jamboree is a hoot and a holler. I barely scratched the surface of this Mario Party, but I really do think this is the best Mario Party on the Switch. And it's great that this is going to continue on the Switch too with some extra content as well. I still think it's like still a little weird. Like, why didn't you just wait? But that's my thought on it. Still a great Mario Party. One of my favorite games of all time, Super Mario RPG. This was another dream Switch release, honestly. Like, I have wanted a remake of this game for so long, and even just play it on the SNES aspect of the NSO, but instead we got a full and beautiful remake of this game. And yeah, if you haven't played Super Mario RPG, please do. Please do. It is honestly one of my favorite games of all time. It brings me so much joy, and especially if you like Paper Mario but haven't experienced this, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The story is fun. The characters are so memorable. You got Gino and Mallow, but even then, all of the like NPCs are memorable too. It's kind of a very interesting remix of the Mushroom Kingdom, which I just really, really love. It's so memorable. It's so memorable. And again, if you like the writing of Paper Mario or the idea of the writing in Paper Mario, this is where it all started. This is where all of that kind of silly, comedic writing started. So really give this game a shot, because I would love to see a sequel to this game. Technically Paper Mario was, but I'd love to see a true Super Mario RPG sequel. So play and buy this game, thanks please. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, yes, it's another staple, we know it. I don't know what's coming next after this for Smash. I really don't. I've been trying to think, like, what are we even gonna get? Are we gonna get a new Smash on the Switch too? Or are we just gonna get Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Plus or something like that? I don't know. But this really is the ultimate Smash Brothers. Everyone is here. It's true. It's so true. I've played this game for countless hours with my friends over the years, and honestly, it really doesn't get old. I will always be, as terrible as I am, a Smash fan, so there you go. The final Ace Attorney entry, we have the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I'm also super excited to get to this. I love this kind of era of game, so like, the fact that it's an Ace Attorney game set in the past, also still with crazy characters, I am really excited. I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about these games, so I will hopefully also get to this year. I'm gonna do Apollo Justice first, and then save this for last, I think. So that's the plan, but I'm so excited. Of course, the one, the only, The Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild. What more can you say? What more can be said about this game that hasn't already been said in the past 8 years? I don't know. But it's a marvel. I'm assuming everybody watching this video has played this game, or at least has general knowledge of this game, but Breath of the Wild really is very special. Even if it's not your type of Zelda, you cannot like dismiss the cultural impact that this Zelda game had. So yeah, give credit where credit is due. I love Breath of the Wild quite a lot, still to this day. But a game that was a beautiful, just breath of fresh air, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. People aren't talking about this game enough anymore. This kind of happened and people were hype, and then it ended. The hype should have continued. This is a great and unique Zelda game. People were really complaining that Zelda didn't get a sword, and I just think that's silly, to be honest. I think that's really, really silly, because she gets her own game. Unlike how with Princess Peach Showtime, like, it just kind of felt like, we're doing this because we want to do this. The time and care that went into Echoes of Wisdom and the puzzles of Echoes of Wisdom and making Zelda have her own unique experience, it shows. It really, really does show. So if you haven't played Echoes of Wisdom, and you especially love the puzzle aspects of Zelda, you should really give this one a go, for sure. And in the same art style, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. I love Link's Awakening, and this is a fantastic and adorable remake. I love the soundtrack and the story of this game so much. So again, if you just want a standard 2D Zelda, here it is. This is the one to play. This really is just the one to play. The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword, controversial for me. There's a lot of good in Skyward Sword, but there's also a lot of less than good in Skyward Sword. The controls still bug me to this day. It wasn't much of an upgrade from the Wii, honestly. It really wasn't, but again, in terms of story, in terms of dungeon design, in terms of music, in terms of the characters, Skyward Sword is really good. It's not my favorite. It really isn't my favorite, because there are parts of this game that are just aggravating and unforgivable. But there's still a lot of good going on in this one. And of course, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I still go back and forth between liking this or Breath of the Wild better. Both have such incredible things going for them, and I think Tears of the Kingdom does a great job of expanding what goes on in Breath of the Wild. Is there more that could have been done to make it more of a cohesive world and connected story? 100%. I still wish we had proper dungeons in this game, but we got a lot closer. We got a lot closer, but we just need more personality in those dungeons. But the bosses were cool. Colgera is still such a cool boss, and I loved that boss battle, and that boss battle music, very cool. Very cool. But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, another fantastic game. In my opinion, I think it's really hard to start with Tears of the Kingdom and then go back to Breath of the Wild. I really do think they're games that should be played in order, but that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear what other people think and why they think a certain way about that, but that's just me. But still, Tears of the Kingdom is great. If you haven't played it, I still really recommend giving it a go. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, FE Encore. I will stand up for this game for however long. I always will. It is such a fun, weird RPG that was ported over from the Wii U. I loved it then. I love it now. I actually just finished this version of it last year, and I had such a blast doing it. The Switch version adds a little bit of extra content too, which was kind of nice for somebody that's already played it. But yeah, it's just a fun little idle RPG that takes Fire Emblem characters and Shin Megami Tensei battle mechanics, and it's really fun. It's really fun. Before we got any of the Persona games on Switch, this was as close as you could get to Persona, so I don't know. I think it's a great, ridiculous time. Triangle Strategy. Now, I was a big fan of this game when it first came out, and unfortunately my opinions on it have changed quite a bit. Looking back, it kind of was a little boring at times. It didn't really grab me how I wanted it to grab me. The combat was really cool, and frankly, I wish I spent more of the game doing more of the combat, because any of the story stuff and the decision-making stuff, I wanted it to have a substantial impact on me as a gamer, and it really didn't. It really didn't. It did for a lot of other people, though, and I do think there's still a lot of good in here, but yeah, for me, I just, I'll probably never play it again. I did one route, and that was all I needed to do. Trials of Mana. Now, I really hope I can get to this year for sure. I've had this game for so long that's remained unopened. You can even see the spine is a little discolored because it was sitting in the sun for a really long time. It's the only Switch game of mine that actually has that problem, which I think is ridiculous, but so I need to get it out of its case and actually play this game. But yeah, I've heard great things about this remake for sure, and I don't think it's very long, so it might just be like maybe I'll start it one random afternoon and just see where it takes me, you know. But yeah, Unicorn Overlord, the game that got me into Vanillaware, their art, their gameplay style, all of it. This is a great game. The story is simplistic, which actually didn't bug me as much as I thought it would, but the combat was so fun. The battles are so fun. The characters are cool. Like, there's so much customization you can do to make your story feel like your own. And yeah, I really liked it. It's just a liberating your kingdom kind of story, which felt really good. It felt really good. So highly recommend Unicorn Overlord if you just love a good real-time strategy RPG. It's a great game. It's a really great game. And again, just being in that Vanillaware world is very worth it in my opinion. WarioWare Get It Together. Now, I'm a big WarioWare fan. I really am. And this game was fun for the first time I played it, but it was really hard to play it with other people later on. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I see what they were trying to do, but very little brought me back to Get It Together, as opposed to WarioWare Move It, which I loved playing this game with friends. Granted, I think a lot of it is because my friends and I played Smooth Moves a lot growing up, and this was like a good callback to that for sure. Whereas Get It Together, it was new and unique, but there wasn't a lot keeping me there after the fact, where yeah, Move It, we played a lot. Still, both good WarioWare games, and if you like the series, you can't really go wrong with either one, but I have a preference. Alright, we're doing all 5 of these games, the last 5 games of the collection, all at once. We've got Xenoblade Chronicles Deluxe Edition, we've got Xenoblade Chronicles 2, we've got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torn of the Golden Country, we've got Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and finally, we have Xenoblade Chronicles X. All of these games are on the Switch. All of them are on the Switch, and that is insane. That is absolutely insane. Xenoblade is undeniably my favorite game series of all time. When I really think about it, I look at all these games scattered around me now. The games that I will always be excited to talk about are these games. Granted, I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles X. I'm really excited. This is coming soon for me too, but the main Xenoblade games literally changed my life and have been changing my life for years and years and years. Giving Xenoblade Chronicles 2 another shot was one of the best decisions I could have made, honestly, and gave me an even greater appreciation for the series that I already loved so much. These games are impactful, they are powerful, and no matter what one you start with, or if you only play one or you play all of them, it is so worth it if you love a beautifully narrated story, wonderful characters and their relationships and how they grow alongside each other. And if you love beautiful environments, taking down giant monsters, and a gorgeous soundtrack, you can't go wrong with any of them. Really, really, truly. So just play Xenoblade. For the love of God, just play Xenoblade. We did it! They're all scattered around me now in a pile on the floor, but we have done it. We have gone through my entire Nintendo Switch collection. Oh my gosh. It's crazy to think how big this collection has grown since I started a YouTube channel almost 4 years ago now, I think. I don't know the passage of time. It doesn't make sense anymore, but we have done it, and it's crazy. It's so amazing to look back at this collection and see so many wonderful experiences that I've had over the years, and so many wonderful experiences that I'm going to have for years to come. So I think doing this right before the Switch 2 came out was the right idea, because it really just gave me a big appreciation of the fact that I'm taking all this with me. This is not where the collection ends. I'm still going to be collecting for Switch 100% even after the Switch 2 comes out. In fact, there's probably a lot of games that are coming out for the Switch and Switch 2 that I'm going to buy the Switch version of. But yeah, it's kind of incredible to see all of these games here with me. I don't know how other people feel about that. Everybody collects in different ways, and I don't know. I collect for experiences, and I'm just very fortunate to have had so many incredible experiences on this console. But my voice hurts very badly. I want to stand up because I've been sitting down for a long time recording this. So I think that is going to do it for me. Please tell me, what are your favorite Switch games? Let's celebrate how good of a life cycle the Switch has had and celebrate what's to come as well. So tell me your favorite Switch games. If you like this video, maybe consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing. I love talking about video games. I'm so tired, I don't even know what else to say, but I sure do love talking about video games. So if you like that, come hang out with me. Anyways, everybody, that's gonna do it for me. I will see you in the next video where, if everything works out, I'll have my Switch too. So I'll see you then. Goodbye. Boop.